Hey, welcome back to my channel, IndieAuthor Jill. I did take a break from my reading challenge with the 21 connected books. I was supposed to read Butterflies at Blue Hour. I will read this next, I promise. But uh, it is the end of May, and I was supposed to read this book for May for one of the online book club things that I'm doing. Um, if you don't know who Sarah Freshley from Freshly Read Books is, every month she will do a TBR spin and sprint. And the last for May, the TBR prompt was the book whose author's name comes last alphabetically. And for me, that was Vanessa Woolley's Secrets at Sunset. Um, so I had to get that done before the end of this month in order to count it. Um, I will link to her channel in the description, as well as linking to this in the description. Secrets at Sunset by Vanessa Woolley. Um, so we follow. It's a dual POV adventure romance, romantic suspense, whatever. Um, but we follow Kate and Ryan. Kate is a journalist, and her mom and dad have both died tragically in a car accident. And as she goes through the motions of dealing with the funeral and setting the affairs in order and whatnot, and now she's while she is going through their effects and getting ready to sell the house, she comes across a document that reveals a family secret. And in order to get the information from to find out more about this family secret, she has to go to South Africa. So she wants to throw herself into work, but she also wants to figure out what's going on with this secret. So then her boss, uh, she finds out that a story comes in for uh, the journalist at her what is it, the um, Daily Examiner or something like that. Um, I don't know. So anyway, um, it mentions it somewhere. Anyway, she does a she works for a magazine or a paper or something, and she's doing a store. The story comes in for uh um to do an article on poaching in South Africa. And she's like, "Great, that's where I need to go anyway." So she doesn't want to tell her boss that that's where she needs to go for to find the family secret. So she's like, "Hey, I want that story." And he's like, "That's not your regular gig." She's like, "I don't care. um I'm the best one to send." And he's like, "Why are you the best one to send? It's not your regular gig. We have other people that are more well versed in this." And she's like, "Yeah, but their best friends from high school aren't running a wildlife reserve, are they?" And he's like, "Well, no, that's very true." And she's like, "Well, my best friend Sarah, from who I've been best friends for all throughout high school and school years, she actually lives at the Elephant Sands Wildlife Reserve in South Africa. So I already have an in. I already have somebody who has been begging me to come and visit them. And she can get me in good with the staff so that I don't even have to build the rapport. I just already have the in. And so you should just send me." And he's like, "That's a good point. We'll send you." So she packs up and she goes. And just as her plane is landing, there's a truck that pulls up, and there's this baby rhino that has been injured. This little guy right here. His name is Themba, Themba. Um, and he gets that name from the Rhino orphanage. He's injured, and so Um, Katie sees him pulling up in the back of the truck. On the back of the truck, not only is the baby Rhino there, but also Ryan, this guy, is on the back tending to him until they are able to airlift him out of there. And so Sarah meets him, and she's like meets Kate there, and she's like, "Oh, Katie, I'm so glad you're here. By the way, this is Ryan. He's going to be babysitting you while you're doing your story." And um, Ryan is very leery of reporters. He's had bad experiences with reporters in the past. And Katie tells Sarah she's there for the story, but doesn't quite tell her right away that she's also there to unearth the truth behind this family secret. Mainly because she doesn't know if there's really anything to tell. So she's waiting to get more information, and when she does get more information, then she does eventually let Sarah in on that. Um Ryan, on the other hand, is kind of dealing with his own past. Um, when he was in the army, he was on a mission with five other guys. They refer to the mission now as the incident. Two of the five people in that mission died, and there's only the three of them left. And like I said, the three of them stayed close in contact, and they refer to what happened as the incident, and they don't really talk a whole lot about it. Um, but then Ryan gets the news that one of the guys committed suicide because he blamed himself for the incident, which Ryan thought was ridiculous because Ryan himself blamed himself for the incident. And then as they go through the story, he's dealing with the death of his friend, he's dealing with his survivor guilt, he's dealing with who's really to blame for the incident, and eventually he does figure out who actually is he actually does find out whether or not he is to blame for the incident. And then Katie does find out the answer to the secrets behind the family secrets and everything. Um, in the meantime, the main focus is on the poaching. And I love the way that Ryan and Katie are like all of the characters, even the side characters, are very fleshed out. The way they're responding to different things, the way that the poachers respond to different situations, the way that victims are being portrayed. But I especially love that Katie and Ryan, they have an immediate attraction at first sight. Like they're like, yeah, she's cute. Yeah, he's kind of sexy. But there's not a love at first sight type situation. As a matter of fact, it takes a while for them to really start to get under each other's skin. Um and what gets them what gets them to that point, and it does happen rather quickly because it happens within a couple of days, but what happens in those couple of days is what ends up drawing them towards each other because of different things like how she interacts with the wild animals, and uh how they talk about the wildlife, and how they talk about the territory, how they talk about each other and the people in their lives, um, the way they react to different things. They have they immediately have a respect for each other that is like the respect of a human being. Like, I respect you as a person, and I respect that you have a job to do. But I also have a job to do, so let's not get in each other's way, and let's help each other do our jobs without compromising our own jobs. And that respect, they end up building on that respect of, okay, now I don't respect you just as a person who has a job to do, I respect you as a person who has a certain amount of integrity, or a certain amount of just empathy or whatever. They get to know each other really quickly in those days because of the events that happen around them, that they and that's what gets them uh to that point quickly of having more of a mutual respect to each other. And it's not just a forced like, oh, I immediately am in love with you now because of this one thing. That doesn't happen. If you're a romance novel lover who loves a slow burn, then you definitely gonna like this. They absolutely earn their relationship. um it doesn't come easy, but it's not, the things that step in the way don't feel contrived, they don't feel unnecessary. Even and it follows a stereotypical romance format with the third act breakup and um whatnot, but even the and the happy ending. But the third act breakup is not one of those dopey miscommunications. Oh, I didn't understand. I just misunderstood what was going on. Silly me. No, they are, when it comes time to communicate with each other, they do communicate with each other. Any information they're holding back, and they have really solid reasons for holding those that information back. For like, instance, when he catches her on the phone and he overhears um her talking to someone, he's like, "Who are you talking to?" And she's like, "It's nobody. It's nothing to do with the poaching." And she's right. It has nothing to do with the poaching. It's her private investigator that she's hired to help her figure out the family secret. So for him, he's like, okay, well, I don't really like that she's not telling me who she's talking to, but I also don't have any proof that it's not related to the poaching. So if she says it's not related to the poaching, then I guess I have to believe her. But I still don't like that she's talking to somebody that I don't know anything about. But it's because he's on high alert of anybody could be an informer, anybody could be uh helping poachers get into his wildlife reserve. He's already got one dead rhino on his hands. He doesn't want any other animals to die. And like I said, he already has a distrust of journalists just because of previous experience with journalists. So he's well within his right to distrust her, but she's also well within her right to not tell him about the personal investigator because it has nothing to do with the poaching. It's about her family secrets, and he has no business knowing about that, really. Um, I like how everything is fleshed out. I like how that everyone acts like you would expect a human to act within the situations that come up. um Nothing feels forced, nothing feels contrived. The whole story feels very well connected and very well thought out. Everything connects really well in a way that doesn't feel forced or an afterthought. It feels like it has that of, I didn't expect it to go that way, but on the other hand, I can't see it going any other way. Uh Also, so um with the third act breakup, like, they do have it, like I said, it's not a miscommunication, it's not a misunderstanding. It's a, I feel like this, I have these thoughts and feelings on this situation, and the other, he's like, well, I have these thoughts and feelings on the situation. And they're like, okay, well, I don't see that we need to really discuss anything more because you feel the way you feel, I feel the way I feel, and that's just all there is to it for right now. And when they do come back together, they realize you're still allowed to feel the way you feel, and I'm still allowed to think that it's weird that you feel that way, but it doesn't really matter for the sake of our relationship. It doesn't change anything about me, it doesn't change anything about you, and it doesn't change the situation. So there's no reason for us not to have a relationship just because we have a difference of opinion on this thing. and it's something that they both feel strongly about at the time. And when all the dust settles and everything's said and done, they still feel just as strongly. They just realize that it doesn't have any weight on their relationship, and it was hard for them to. And I can understand why they felt that at the time. And how they come to it is just having some time to, go through different things. He goes back to the animal reserve. She continues on with finishing up things, reconnecting with some family, and um finding some other stories that, while she's there, she had found some other stories that could be written, and she got her editor's approval that, like, hey, I'm already here, why don't I write this story and this story? And he's like, yeah, I think that's a great idea, do it. And so as they're finishing up, wrapping up different things, then they're able to come back together with a, like, hey, I've had some time to think about this, and I still don't understand where you're coming from, but I also don't need to understand where you're coming from on that particular point to understand that it's important to you, and that it has nothing to do with this relationship, and we can still have this relationship. Um the I liked the twist and turns, because, like I said, you're following them as they're tracking down these poachers, and you're also following her as she's uncovering this family secret. And the family secret thing is definitely worth the investment. Like, it at my biggest concern, or my biggest gripe, was how long it took for us to find out what her other, like, in the first, like, two, it's a dual point of view. So you have Katie's point of view, then you have Ryan's, and you go back and forth. And you have to go to Katie's point of view a couple of times before she finally tells you why she needs to be in uh South Africa, and that it's for a family secret. You also find out what the family secret is at the same time. So and I'm just like, could we not have gotten there sooner? That was my only gripe about it, is like, could we not have gotten to her thing sooner? I think the amount of time we took to get to Ryan and finding out what the incident actually was, I think that took the right amount of time. But by the time we got to finding out what Katie's family secret was, it felt like I was getting frustrated to the point where it's like, if we do not find out what this family secret is in this chapter, I may DNF, because I'm just tired of being strung along. So that's the only complaint I have, is that it took longer than I would have preferred for us to get to why Katie was in the African bush in the first place, because it took that long to find out that it even was a family secret, because all she kept saying was, um the real reason I'm here, the real reason I'm here. And it's like, what is the real reason you're here? Even if it had been alluded to that she had found a family secret in the first or second time she's it's in her point of view, I would have been along for the ride, and I would have been like, I will be as patient as I need to be to find out what the family secret is. But if I had known further, if I had known sooner that it was a family secret, I would have been more on board. I wouldn't have gotten frustrated by the time that it was announced what that it was a family secret and what the family secret was. But uh yeah, it was that waiting that irked me. So that's the only thing I would have said, that if you wanted to keep it under wraps for as long as you did, that would have been fine, if it had been known that it was a family secret she was looking for, rather than the real reason, the real reason, the real reason. And it's like, I can't see why you would. have another reason for being in South Africa. So, like, spill already. Like, give us something. Um, Other than that, everything else was well done and perfectly done. As usual, the link to this book will be in the description below, as well as a link to the Sarah's channel, Freshly Read Books. Um, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. If you don't know what to comment, uh, comment a rhino emoji for Themba. All right, I will see you guys later. Bye.